OTAN, Outreach and Technical Assistance Network.
Welcome everybody here. My name is Susan Gaer and I am a Google innovator. I am a chief subject matter expert and I teach a class for the American University of Afghanistan in Kabul, Afghanistan. Oh, really? And I'm working with a lot of women and I'm teaching right now, I'm teaching writing and I have been teaching reading. I guess I'm teaching grammar next semester. Okay, Kristi.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kristi Reyes. I've been working with OTAN for a while, and I'm an ESL instructor in the non-credit program at MiraCosta College. It's raining here today. I'm in Oceanside. Yesterday I was up there in San Jose, and it followed me down here to the south somehow, the rain. But anyway, we need rain, right?
It's cold here, but we're not, it's been raining, but it's cold. Okay, so next slide. Oh, I'm sorry. This goes a little bit slower than I want it to go. There you go. Kristi, go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, we'd just like to know what you teach and where, and if you're not in the classroom, what is your role in your agency? So if you have your phone, you can open up your camera, point it at that QR code. How many of you are familiar with Padlet? It's one of our favorite tools, especially now that Jamboard is kind of going away. And if you've logged into Padlet, you probably will notice there are, I don't know, I didn't count, but several templates specifically for education. So check it out. So if you can go ahead and if you're in Zoom right now, I've just posted the link in the chat. Click on that. And all you need to do is, if you are on a phone and you've scanned the QR code, just tap anywhere on the screen or look for the pencil. If you are working on another device like a computer, you're going to look for the pencil or a round, usually pink circle in the bottom right corner. Just tap on that. And again, let us know what you teach and where, and if you're not teaching, what you are doing at your agency. And we want to know, what is the last technology tool you used in class, and why did you choose to use that specific technology tool? So we're going to give you a moment, and then I can probably, Susan, you might want to click on that link in the chat to open that up, and we can have a look really quickly at what you've all entered.
Do you want me to do that now, or you think there's?
We'll give them a second. Yeah. So far we're seeing Google Classroom, Sonia, ESL at Mount Sac, woohoo! Slido, which is a really fun tool for presenting and having some interaction with students. And you wanted to give students a quiz on their syllabus. Oh, yeah. See if they were paying attention that first day when you were going over the syllabus. And again, while you're posting, I don't want to distract you, but one of the reasons we really like Padlet is because it has a multitude of uses. And that's really what the best course is about, finding a few tried and true tools that can be used for many different things and give students a certain familiarity and confidence with those tools. And Padlet is really wrapped around responsive design because it works perfectly on a phone, a tablet, a computer, and students don't need to log in. They don't need to remember some other password to log in. All you do is you create the wall, and all they need to do is tap and post. Easy as that.
And if they can't draw and you want them to do visuals, Padlet now has an I can't draw feature, which will actually draw for you. And I went for adults on the moon. And that's what I got.
So we have one more person who's posted that they teach multi-level ESL family literacy. Bless you for doing that very hard work. You have a brand new whiteboard. So your students were practicing how to use ventures on the whiteboard. Wow, what a great hands-on activity for them. And your students also have access to a Google Classroom with a variety of materials that they can use. Thank you, Susan. Yes, so you are really giving them the 24/7 opportunity to extend their learning outside of the classroom. Hello, Victoria. Victoria is joining she's one of my new friends who has her own AI company for ESL. So Victoria is a former AI researcher now building AI for ESL learners at Pace AI, and it is free. She's very excited to be here, and she is very active in all the PD over here in California, even though she's all the way, I believe, right, Victoria, in Boston.
Yeah,
Thank you, Victoria, for being here.
thank you.
All right, so I see Nearpod, ChatGPT, woo, Google Suite, Jamboard. Yeah, we're just so disappointed that Jamboard is leaving us. But again, Padlet is a great fill-in for that. And we also have another ESL instructor and online faculty mentor facilitator at San Diego College of Continuing Education. Woohoo! Teaching a high beginning ESL class, Quizlet. Wow. I mean, and we think of Quizlet as just for vocabulary, but you could do all kinds of things with Quizlet and play those live games that are just super fun for students, give them that spontaneous
I do
repeatable
use that.
practice. And Padlet for introductions of students, and Laura at near Susan's old stomping ground, Santiago Canyon College, Adobe Podcast. Now there's a new one. I bet a lot of us haven't heard of that one, right? You can use to create dictation sentences that you put in Canvas. It's still in beta and it's free for now. The UI leaves a lot to be desired, the interface. But it does a great job of removing background noise, which we probably could all use when we're working so much from home these days, right? And it makes professional sounding recordings. Well, thank you for everyone for posting to that Padlet. I think we'll go ahead and move on, Susan.
So, what is the best course? So we teach actually two courses at OTAN. One is the Triple E, and this is what we call the best course. And the reason why it's the best is because number one, you get Kristi and I, but also because it's an building an ed tech strategy toolkit. And we believe that tools need to be used and the students need to know how to use them, so they just don't focus on the tool, they focus on the learning. And so it's a 5-week online course with we have synchronous sessions and we have async sessions. And as always with OTAN, everything is
Free.
free. Thank you. We need that in our brand name, Kristi. So this is what we're going to do today, is explain that we were supposed to have student testimonials, but we were not able to get enough students to run the class last time. So we have no students right now, but we're going to run it again in the fall, and we're hopeful that all of you are going to join us this time.
How many students do you need to run the class?
More than 5. 10 would be nice,
10?
yeah. But, and then not everybody finishes, so you want to have a couple finishers. But we'll show you, I have testimonials. It's a really good fun course.
How many hours?
How many hours? So it's 5 weeks, 1 hour a week online synchronously. And then maybe 2 to 3 hours of work, right, Kristi? 2 to 3 hours of work on your own. You can work more than that, of course, but yeah, so you're looking at 5 weeks at 5 hours plus 10 to 15 hours, yeah. And we get certificates, we'll explain all that.
Doable.
It's doable. We try to make it doable. We try to make it less sessions, but we really need the 5. It doesn't work with less. All right, I think the next one is gonna be yours, Kristi.
Okay, so this course, what I love about it, because I love technology tools, and in my early days of teaching, I don't know if anybody was like this, like I would go to something like OTAN TDLS, learn about a new tool and go, use it and then learn a new tool and then use it. And I was giving students whiplash sort of, because really what we need to do is Start with the learner first and start with what works best for students' needs. So we start off with that premise, starting with student needs. And instead of calling it needs, because that kind of comes from a deficit-minded perspective, what this course calls learner needs is more like learner factors. So you learn about an amazing resource that would just blow your mind called the Adult Learner Variability Navigator. We'd like to call it Alvin because that's a mouthful. We just call it Alvin. And so you explore that, and it starts with learner factors, things like first language background, things like age, but also strengths that students can bring to the classroom. So when you're thinking of your learner factors, and don't think of only weaknesses and barriers, but thinking of everything our adult learners can bring to the classroom, we would like you, I've just put into the chat to, we're going to do a word cloud. I don't know if you're familiar with Answer Garden. It is a completely free, so easy to use tool for creating word clouds. Great for check-ins or exit tickets, which are a couple of strategies. So if you're in Zoom, if you'd like to click on that link in the chat, if you're in the room or on Zoom, you can open up your phone, point it at that QR code with your camera, and open up your web browser and type in your response. So with Answer Garden, there is no teacher login. There is no student login. So we'd like to ask you again, what factors, strengths, as well as needs do your students bring to your class? I think about some of my students who are elderly and sometimes they feel like things are too fast for them because they need slower pace. So pacing could be a learner's factor. So go ahead and go to that URL or to the QR code, and please go ahead and type in a couple of things, your learner factors, strengths and needs. We'll give you a
Yeah.
moment to do that.
Strengths too, right? Strengths are important. And I put a little picture there, Kristi, because it's kind of hard on the phone. It comes out so small, but there's a little question at the top and there's a little white box there, and you type in your answer in the white box and then you hit submit. Forget all of the junk that's underneath it. That's how they get it for free.
And then just to let you all know, sometimes it's usually populating live, but if not, you always just do a refresh and you can see the word cloud happening in front of your eyes.
Well, I'm gonna open it up now. I think, do you think everybody who's going to?
It looks like it, I'm seeing it being populated. I see motivation, life experience, educational gaps, optimism, kind of related to motivation, resilience, definitely learning styles or preferences. Nowadays, they're, it's kind of trending more towards learning preferences, right? So that could be a wide range of things from, we're seeing at our school, students who prefer learning online from the comfort of their sofa, and others who want to be in person. That could be students who prefer to watch a video, and other students who prefer to read the information. So lots of different things there, right? So I'm just going to refresh one more time. And you know that with a word cloud, anything that is entered more than once, and when I just refreshed, I see barriers really large. And so that means more than one person put the word barriers. I see positivity, fossilized errors. I imagine that's with our English language learners. Diversity, which is a great thing, actually, isn't it? Yeah, so I'll refresh one more time and see if anything else came up.
I don't know.
Diversity is second. It's the second largest next to barriers. All right. So we can see background education as well. That can be both positive and a little bit of a barrier for some of our students who come in with sort of an imposter syndrome type of idea. So thank you everybody for participating in that. And we'll go on to you, Susan.
Yep, let me just open up the slide deck again.
Whatever, I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, actually, this has my name. I can continue on. So, we'd like to, for those of you, if you can share in the chat, and for those of you in the room, Susan's going to call on you. Cold calling. Okay. So, but we'll give you a moment to think. If you can tell the group, if you're in person, if you're online, please share in the chat. How and or where do you learn about new technology tools? Hopefully here at OTAN TDLS, but where else? Go ahead and Susan, if you would like to go around the room, and I'll monitor the chat.
Who wants to go first?
TDLS.
Okay, besides TDLS,
Oh. Coworkers.
coworkers.
The EdTech Center at World Education newsletter.
The EdTech Center World Education newsletter. If you guys are unfamiliar with that, it's a very nice tool. You just go to World Education and sign up for the newsletter. They also have Friday chats.
Oh, I learned something new. World education.
And so Laura, how about you?
Center?
Yeah, World Education newsletter.
The EdTech Center.
Laura, how about you? Where do you get ideas from? Sonia, how about you?
Other teachers or presenters. Like I saw someone using Slido to present.
Oh, and then you said, I'm gonna try it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. And we see on the chat, we have YouTube, YouTube. I think that's where a lot of our students learn new information too. Colleagues, conferences, OTAN. I'm glad to see OTAN show up a lot now.
In my school, I have to be ahead of the crowd because the teachers are learning from me. So I have to attend conferences and learn to train the faculty.
Okay, good. Shall I move on, Kristi? Or are you gonna?
Let me just I'll speak for the folks in the chat. Surprisingly, OTAN and CalPro, YouTube and colleagues. Again, World Ed came up there, and I just shared. I'm on lots of different mailing lists. Like if you've ever heard of Matt from Ditch That Textbook. There's a gentleman in Sacramento. He's actually in K-12, but trains teachers, Larry Ferlazzo. And then I'm keeping up, I'm sure you are too, on social networking. I'm learning a lot about all the AI tools coming in from different people I follow on LinkedIn. And let's see what else we have. Google search. Yeah. Yes, when you're looking for something specific. And language learning forums. And you also subscribe to some newsletters, Instagram and TikTok. Woohoo! Thank you, everybody. Great
I have
ideas.
I'm not there yet. Okay.
YouTube.
So let's talk about routine. So one of the things that we do in the best courses, this stuff is overwhelming. There's more tools out there than you could possibly, and I want to tell you, if you listen to Joe yesterday, and he said there's so many tools, and you start like going tool centric on the students because you want to try them all out, and that inhibits the learning process because they're focusing on the tool rather than on what they're supposed to be learning. So, yes. Oh, sorry. So what we want to do is ask you two questions. Do you have instructional routines? And if you do, why do you think they're important? And why do you think it's important to have students use technology in routine ways? So if you're in the Zoom room, please post on the chat the answer to these two questions. And I will work with my participants here. And we'll talk about routines and what they are and why we think they're important. So who would like to go first?
I teach this semester, I teach in person, and I think I have to establish that routine for students to get into a habit of using that tool. Either Quizlet or Padlet, and I'm trying to introduce one tool at a time that they would have the habit of using it, because if I introduce more than one, it will be confusing because they teach ESL beginning level.
So you're gonna focus on Quizlet this year, you said?
No, couple of weeks, I'm going to use Quizlet and then I will add a little more tools
As you go through.
as I go through.
Yeah, great. Okay.
With our partners, definitely co-signing, don't know your name, but what you just said on building that habit, a lot of times it's the muscle memory. I guess what Anagit said is building that muscle memory so that students can on-ramp after quiz.
I'm trying to establish routine and I'm not very good at that.
Oh, you need our course. Sonia, how about you?
Well, our semester just started. I'm teaching in person this semester and, you know, so things like Quizlet, we have a lab. I try to take them or my plan is to take them regularly. So they just learn one time how to use it. And then for all the new vocabulary we practice, they don't have to learn again, right? They already know how to do the practice.
Kristi, what do we have online?
Yeah, that this, helps them in the classroom, and in their personal activities to have that structure and organization and expectation and lessens the fear, consistency, habit, reinforcement are some words we're seeing here. Let's see what else. Sorry, I have to scroll up a little bit. What else? Routines. I love this, Laura. Thank you. Create habits, which are important to establish because willpower doesn't work consistently. Also, routines can ensure that a variety of skills are being practiced. Wow. Thank you, Laura. You said that so well. Ophelia says she used Padlet before in the past and would like to start using it again. Yes, it's very helpful. We need to keep them up to date. I think that's one of the greatest things is with the routines, all those different qualities built into the instruction that lessen the fear. And then as Ophelia said, if we don't teach technology, our students are going to be left behind. And so now during COVID, I'm sure you felt this, at least probably some of you did, is that our students learned a lot of technology in their digital literacy gap that used to exist kind of lessened, but now we've got all the new gaps with the artificial intelligence tools. And if we don't teach them, who is going to teach them technology, right? So yeah, using technology in a seamless way is really important to give students that familiarity and lessen the filters that may give them certain pause and fear of using technology. Thank you, everybody.
May I add something?
Yes, go ahead.
First of all, I'm teaching students how to find and use Canvas if they're in person.
Right.
And I want them to know that this is Canvas and I think for my class is skill number one, the most important.
Good, yeah. So one of the things that we really focus on in this class is developing routines instead of just activities. Activities are great, but once you get a routine going, the students can do it over and over again, and hopefully they can make that bridge to their real life and use it as a tool in their real life. So a routine is replicable within a variety of contexts. That's the critical point. Subject areas, and it can occur on a regular basis. So you can do different contexts with it, but the same tool. And an activity is a specific exercise, like a listening practice or a speaking practice or a grammar activity. These are things that are involved with the activity itself and it's related to the context, but you can't keep doing it over and over with different contexts. So we focus on, in this class, teaching routines. And it is the one sticking point a lot of times that we have to work really hard on is we keep reinforcing it over and over again because a routine and activity are very different and people tend to think in terms of activities instead of routines. But in this course, we really focus on the routine.
I have a question.
Yes.
Will you be sharing slides with us?
Yes, Kristi will put the link to the slides in the chat box and
But I don't have access to it.
Correct. And I will then take that link and put it up on the board in a large font. And you can be able to get it that way, we promise.
Thank you.
Yeah. So is this mine or yours, Kristi?
Yeah, so I'll just mention here, like you see those images there, KWL. You've probably heard of that. It's like when you're beginning a new lesson to find out what students know, tap into their background knowledge. It's what they know, what they want to know, and what they learned after they've either read a text or gone through a lesson. So for example, you might use something like a Google form, or you might use a Google Doc that students make a copy of and fill out. That would be a replicable routine because they're using Google Docs or Google Forms routinely for different purposes, not just a one-off activity. Whereas you see below, if you're teaching, if you were teaching a CTE class and Excel was part of it, that would be something different. But let's say you're teaching a class and you want students to do a budget on, Excel or Google Sheets. And that's the only time you ever use that tool. And that's the only time then that is not replicable, just to give you an idea of what that is. So yeah, you can go ahead and go to the next slide. So a little bit more, Susan has talked about the class, and here's just a little bit more information. So as we said, there are 5 weeks with 4 sections. So the first section, as I've mentioned, we start with the learner factors. We're looking at what strengths and what barriers your students may have. We're using this Alvin tool, which starts with learner factors, shows you a variety of different classroom-based strategies that often link to technology, but not always, that you can use to use those strategies or instructional approaches in your classroom. So then we start with the learner, always student-centered. Then in section 2, we're looking at all those different teaching strategies. So also thinking about where our students are coming into our classes in terms of their digital skills. And we have to cover, and we can't dismiss the topic of accessibility, making sure that any tools you are using can be used by all learners, that we are 508 compliant. So that's an important thing that is not always covered. And we give you, of course, that would be a whole course unto itself, learning about accessibility, but give you some tools to help you make sure that you're not leaving any students behind. So looking at strategies, then we have the fun time, which a lot of people are just, they gravitate towards OTAN because of ed tech tools. So we go over we give you some resources for searching up something new, and do a little tool exploration, but making sure that you started with a learner, you found a strategy that will work for the majority of your students and meet their needs and their assets, and then match the tool to that strategy, not starting with tools. So goals before tools. And then our last section, you create an ed tech routine. You try it out with your learners. You see how it works. You modify as necessary, reflect on that, revise it, and present it. So towards the end of the course, as we said, it's 5 weeks. You see there are 4 sections. Towards the end of the course, we offer some online office hours, drop in as you need, or set an appointment if you need any assistance. So
Okay.
it's like a coaching model, actually, which, I've read every teacher should have their own coach. Coaching is not telling you what to do, but cheering you on and supporting you.
And if we get enough people, we will divide up into small groups. But last time, we only had enough people for a small group. So that's what we're hoping by advertising and marketing, that we can get more participants in the course. And this is what it looks like on Canvas. Kristi, you want to go over this too?
Sure. So if you can share in the chat, if you're in Zoom and if you're in the room, can you just say yes or no? How many of you are using Canvas for your teaching?
In my room, just one person.
Only one? Okay. So, Canvas is the one that is used by the majority of the community colleges. It was adopted, I don't know, quite a few years back. And so by learning it, and hi, Marcia, how are you? Marcia was one of our participants in the best course before. So by using it, you can get the student view, which is so helpful if you decide to teach online. Google Classroom, some of you are using, which, if you are using some sort of learning management system with your students, you're giving them a really important skill set, because that is where a lot of the community colleges are, even if they are not offering a hybrid or fully online class, they are using it as a support for supplemental. So at my school, all teachers have to have a Canvas course and minimum post their syllabus. So you can get that view from the student side and see how that feels to be an online learner. So there are discussions, there are different sections where you do some learning, then you apply that learning with an assignment, and we follow this routine in all of the modules to kind of model that's how you teach hybrid or online courses, following a consistent order. So I think it's a benefit to kind of be in the student seat to feel what that feels like, and see what Canvas is like anyway. So that's how the Canvas course is organized.
So the course expectations, approximately 3 hours a week, but it depends on you. Some people spend a lot of time, some people spend a lot less time. We have, well, it says 1.5 hours online work in Canvas exploration, but it doesn't always go 1.5 hours. We're hedging more towards an hour, but we give it an hour and a half in case there are questions or issues we need to work with. There are 3 certificates, and this is where the beauty of this course comes in. You can decide how hard you want to work. The first level is you just come to the meetings and you do all the assignments, but you don't do anything with it. So if you don't finish your project, you can still get a certificate of achievement. The leader is attending all the meetings and submitting 2 routine templates, which will give you the form to fill out. So then you get what's called a leader certificate. We're trying to get badges, but we haven't gotten that far yet because we have to work with OTAN, and they haven't yet given us the approval for the badges, but they're coming. And then the last one is innovator, and innovator is you do the 2 routines on the template, you try them out in your class, and then you reflect on the use. So that we're adding that reflection piece, and then you get the innovator certificate. You can call yourself a best innovator. Yeah, I like that. Any questions about that?
Nope.
Anybody online have a question?
I would just like to say that Marcia, who is zooming in all the way, remind me, Marcia, is it Chicago? Was a participant, and she is a dean, and she recommends this. So you should think about it.
Marcia, talk when we get to testimonials, Kristi.
All right. Thank you for coming, Marcia. I really appreciate that. So I don't see any questions, but what we're going to move to next is just to have you hear from a couple of former participants about their experience in the BEST course. And then Marcia, if you would be willing to unmute yourself, but no pressure here. So our first participant is Susan Coulter. And go ahead and play, and I'll make sure that you are sharing with the audio.
What I learned about factors, strategies, different tools, and finally a routine to meet my needs and the needs of my students. What I appreciated the most was all the amazing resources geared to adult learners. Let me show you. First, we explored learner factors. There's a lot of information here that can be tailored to your specific classroom. Next, we looked at strategies. There are more than 70 different strategies for the adult learner. The fun part was exploring different tools. Everyone got to choose a tool. I selected Quizlet. And finally, we developed our own routine to use in our classroom. I want to thank Kristi, Reyes, and Susan Gaer for sharing what they have learned in this course. I walked away with a plethora of resources and my own ed tech routine.
Okay, so that's Susan Coulters, and now I'm going to share the next one.
Hi, my name is Debbie Jensen. I'm an adult education instructor. I've retired, but I continue to work in the field and enjoy working and learning new things. I want to tell you about my experience with BEST. For me, the BEST course offered a one-stop place to explore, validate, and try new research-based methods to improve my teaching and gain greater student success. Too often, we're given new tech ideas to try, and try we do, but with mixed results. Then we run after the next best tech tool to try. But with the BEST program, participants are given places where they can find sound analysis of tech routines. The course walks you through the what, why, and how of evidence-based learning strategies. You will come away empowered to use these tech strategies correctly. For me, most importantly, I can return and reuse the resources again and again, bookmark them for sure. The Digital Learning Selector and my favorite, the Learner Variability Navigator by Digital Promise, which will give every instructor the tools to improve their trade and provide greater success for their students. I recommend the course to all adult educators everywhere. Thank you.
So let's see if Marcia would like to talk to us.
Marcia is unable to speak right now, but I believe Marcia, she gives 2 thumbs up. If I can speak for Marcia. And Marcia I copied Marcia's idea. Marcia has shared in the chat how part of her routine, even though she's not in the classroom, was a best practice for student assessment is portfolio. And she created this amazing Google slide show that is in the chat right now, but it was a Google form with these, it looks like some sort of magazine. It looks like so professional. It's a Google Doc with tabs where students can put in some different types of work, different assignments. So Marcia has created her slides in, thank you, Marcia, for finding that and sharing. I made a copy of Marcia's work, and one of these days when I get back to having some time to have students create a portfolio, this was just amazing because all students need to do is click and copy, paste, put in images. We know that portfolios are a great way for students to showcase their work. There it is. Look at that. Oh, I love it.
Isn't that beautiful?
Nice.
So yeah, beautiful.
So you can, if you are in Zoom, you can click on that link, and I would do this. I already did. Click File, make a copy, and you'll have your own. Wow. Marcia just gave you a great gift. So glad you made it, Marcia.
Can you compile these links, because the people who are attending face-to-face would like them all, and we have to put them up on the screen.
Okay, so yeah, what we can do, I'll compile them, I'll put them on the slides right now, and then at the end, what you can do for the people in the room, Susan, is if you're in Google Chrome, create a QR code. Or I can do it really quick too. Okay, yeah, I'll compile these and put them at the end of our slides right now.
Thank you.
So what I did is Marcia shared it, and I clicked on the Google Doc and I selected File, make a copy.
And I did try to get the video from Jill Wright. She also gives it a 2 thumbs up, but unfortunately her audio track didn't come out. So I'm just showing her picture and saying that she also took the course and gave it a 2 thumbs up. Okay. So we are here. This is us trying to recruit you all to come to our BEST course, because we have 5 people who are waiting for more people to come. And if we can get another 5 people, we will teach it in the fall. And we will customize, we'll figure out what your times are. We'll ask you when you're free so that we can actually make a very customized course for everybody who's interested.
So we're saying, yes, I'm interested.
It's a form. You're gonna fill it out and say, yes, you're interested. It should be a Google form that you get when you scan that QR code or click on the link. And we have already the 4 or 5 people that we got last time waiting, and they're waiting. They keep asking us, when are you gonna teach it? When are you gonna teach it? So, you know, we can teach it in the fall.
Are non-teachers allowed?
Sure. Oh, yeah, we have administrators and staff members that take it because,
Am I allowed?
yes, you're allowed.
Yes, we need your ideas.
And, yeah, so we're hopeful that we can get 10 people from this session and the 5 that we have. And then we will be able to teach the course. And I promise you, right, Kristi, you're gonna learn a lot. We
Yeah.
also,
I mean, when else can you have pretty much one-to-one with someone like such an ed tech expert as Susan Gaer?
and
Right?
Kristi. Two powerhouse people. And but we learn more from the participants than you can possibly imagine, because we also learn how other people want to use these tools and what tools they want to use.
And something we just added last go around is AI tools. So we give you some resources, and during that EdTech tool exploration section, we all share and learn from each other. So it's not like one, you know, just information going to you. It's group sharing. And I think I've learned so much being a part of this, that it goes really to andragogy, that we're facilitators, we're learning with you. And that's what makes it very rewarding experience.
Yeah, I think the first part of the course, Kristi and I teach you about Alvin and the learner factors. And once you learn that stuff, we also go over universal design and accessibility, digital frameworks and all that stuff. So once we get all that information in your hands, then we have fun. And we explore those tools using that information that we got. So, so the first part was kind of heavy duty us teaching, and then the second part is more, we're a group of people learning how to use stuff.
How do we apply to be part of your tools in the exploration phase?
So you just need to bring it in. We would love to view your tools. We're always gotta be free though, that's the thing.
Teacher accounts are free, student accounts are not free, but teacher accounts are free.
So the teacher can play around with it.
The teacher can make it and then the students can participate on it, or only if they have an account?
Only the institution.
And yeah, we'll explore her tool when she comes to our course. Okay, so, has everybody had a chance? Because the next part is the evaluation. If you have any questions, we're here to answer them.